What is up, everyone? Happy Monday to everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We'll let a couple people get into the group. And for those that are new to the group and the channel, you can basically comment in the bottom corner. I'll read through them as we go and answer as best I can. Other people can chime in. Feel free to talk between each other in the comments. That's fine. And yeah, thanks for joining. So let's kind of get into it real quick. If you guys want to ask questions, go ahead. One of the updates this week, we're going to be doing a live Instagram feed on Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern PM. We're going to have two of the fastest 10th gen Accords on live, which would be Alex Gleach, who ran 11.1 with a 10-speed auto. And we're going to have Andy Klein, who has a 6-speed Accord, who ran 11.7. That was his best last year at the end of the year. And they're going to be going back out here in another month. So we're going to be going with them and talking about builds, different things where they see the Accord group going, just different stuff, why they chose the chassis, all different questions, and then what they have planned for the year. And we'll go over each car's build. They're both good customers of mine, so I figured what a way to get them on the channel. Hope you guys will tune in on Instagram, and then obviously go follow them both on their Instagrams. And you'll probably be seeing some good times. Both of them are hoping to get in the 10-second range. These are still OEM blocks. And Alex is on an OEM 10-speed. Andy has some revisions to his transmission gear-wise and limited slip. So yeah, it'll be cool. 8 o'clock Eastern on our Instagram, just Axion Industries. But yeah, if you get in here, start asking some questions. We got a lot of stuff going on. It's a busy time of the year. Definitely the best February I've ever had business-wise. So it's been fantastic with orders. A lot of stuff is getting back ordered, just so you guys know. I'll look one day to see what's in stock at certain companies. The next day I go and everything's gone. So just be patient. If you're really needing something, like I say, always reach out, email the company. Obviously, if they don't respond or don't get back to you, then you probably should shop somewhere else. But yeah, go ahead and shoot a comment down here. Let's start chatting Hondas. And I was on the group the other day with P2R talking about J Series stuff, and was actually on the phone with Rich from RV6 this morning talking about certain things that they have coming out. Not going to go into detail what they have going out, but they definitely are broadening the RV6 line coming up over the next year. So you're going to see a lot more parts from RV6 coming out. And yeah, I think it'll be cool. You probably noticed a lot of stuff this year from them as they've kind of switched slowly away from the catted downpipes and start offering a lot more suspension mods and turbo mods. They do have a bigger R660 turbo coming out. That's one thing he said. I can't go into any stuff on it, and then they do have some stuff for the 1.5 with some smaller diameter wheels and the turbo for a little bit quicker spooling. But just keep an eye out. There's some new stuff coming down the road for RV6. PRL cell. Let's get into that one because that's a big one right now. I have not discounted anything on our website for PRL. We're still at the same map pricing. However, I will give codes out for PRL parts for a discount. I can't do the 15 because we're not getting anything extra off from PRL. So basically, we're not making money on anything. So 10% off, free shipping though. And most states, I cover the taxes. So I've noticed a lot of people buying and they get suckered into the 15% off deal, which is a good deal. But in some states, you're paying taxes. And with us, we don't have to pay taxes in every single state. So you can save. PRL is great to order from. So just letting you know, if you guys want to compare prices, you can reach out to us. either way, PRL are going to make money, and you help out small business, us making some cash. So yeah. So off to Arizona in 2 weeks. We're headed back to work on the 11th gen. I know a lot of people have been excited about that car, and we haven't moved the cars out to North Carolina yet. So awesome. Thank you, man. Yeah, HVIs are in stock, shipping. Usually stuff heads out in 24 hours to 48 hours. So we're going back there. We're putting in the Type R Trans is already on the way. K20 C4 is sitting there ready to go. I have to mod some stuff on it before it drops in. We are doing a full series. If you go into the playlists on our YouTube, you can see all the different cars, and I do all the videos connected to the cars now, so you don't have to hunt through everything. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I'm going to try and put on a factory turbo, PRL inlet, and some stuff on the K20 and put the bumper back on so you guys can get the full effect of what the swap would look like in the car. It's just going to look like a Type R basically. But I want to get nice pictures of that. Obviously, that's not the way we're going with the car. We're going way bigger and beyond. But we have a lot of stuff in store for the car this year. I don't know if it'll get running this year. It just depends on the wiring harness. It's about a year wait for the wiring harness. So I should have another like 4 months left on the build on that. The cool thing is I'm pretty sure the RV6 sway bars are in stock. If you want to shoot us a message or that, I can see what I can do on the price. Where was I at? I don't know if I'm going to get the 11th gen running this year. It'll be close to be running, hopefully. There's just a lot of stuff that has to happen with the car. And obviously a lot of money. But the goal is around 900. And the reason I chose the K20 C4 is, number one, we do probably the most business with Accord RDX out of all the other cars that we do now. And I felt the K20 C4 is going to be another popular swap in older Civics. So I wanted to get a swap harness out there that people can use. Number one, for the Accord if they want to switch to Haltech. So we'll have a Haltech plug and play kit for the Accord 10th gen guys. The only thing is the wait times are going to be quite a bit on those. But then we'll also have the info for the harness for people that want to swap it into older cars. So it's going to be pretty cool. I've been working on this for a year now and haven't really said too much. So anytime you change from like a poly bushing to a hang joint style, you can have noise from time to time. Going over uneven stuff, it'll be like a little small like clang noise. Sway bar, not so much. Definitely in the rear camber arms would be a lot more sound to them on the Civics. But yeah, you can ask Andy in here. Andy's got it on his Accord. It's literally the best sway bar you can do on the market. The 22s are a nice upgrade from Progress, Whiteline, Eibach. They're for pretty much anyone that doesn't want to spend a lot of money but wants to get rid of that body roll. But someone that wants to be a little bit more aggressive with their car, I would definitely recommend going to the 26 mil RV6. It's fantastic. And not really, you don't really need to do the front sway bar either. A lot of people want to do those. I always recommend throw on the rear, see how you like it. Andy, do you get a lot of noise? I mean, your car's pretty much gutted at this point, so I'm sure you're getting a lot of noise from everywhere. Yeah, click the thumb, guys. Thank you, Frankie. Nice. Yeah, I wouldn't think there'd be much. I mean, there maybe can be some, but I don't think it would be super noticeable. Especially with all the Integra sound deadening and everything in there, I really don't think you would hear much. So yeah, thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. Like I said, if you've come into the group, just shoot a comment in the question in the comments. We can answer your questions about your build, parts, um, whatever you want to ask related to Hondas, and that people can chime in that are actually in the comment section. And coming up within the next few months, I'm going to start upgrading our live channel. So I'm going to upgrade microphone stuff, get it a little bit more professional since we're starting to actually get a lot of people that tune in every week. And so yeah, so maybe some better quality content. Lately, pretty much I just started this to get in touch with a couple people and get conversations going. And it seems like people are tuning in every week to see what we've got going on. I'm just at my home office here at the house. So since it's 8 o'clock on the East Coast, we're no longer in Arizona. For anyone that wonders, we do have some warehousing out there, which we keep some parts. And actually, it's part of why I'm going back to Arizona, is to slowly keep getting rid of this product that we have there and then close everything down. So. Yeah, Rich has got a lot going on. So yeah, just hit him up and see. I haven't really tested one of the Prackworks. I know they make pretty good gains. It's not really a top end manifold per se. I think it's more keeping a nice, healthy mid-range manifold, but you're still going to get top end. Some of the numbers I've seen are all over the place, so I don't really want to speculate and comment on gains, but they definitely, from what I've seen from several people, have made some really nice gains. And that's the manifold we're running on our K20 when we swap it in the 11th gen. Acuity's already made the shifter for the 11th gen. They're just in the testing phase, so it's in a lot of race cars and a couple road cars. And they just need to basically test them for 6 months to really see if there's any flaws in it. See with actual, miles of usage, how the shifter's doing. I would say you're going to see it by summer. Hopefully it's before that. I think they would want to try and get into kind of the tail end of the tax season, since a lot of people are going to end up buying the hybrid if a QED don't bring theirs out. Yeah, I know. I got a couple of hybrids that came in, and then those back orders that people that placed in November got filled, but they pretty much were already sold out. So they're still waiting on another shipment for shifters. So hybrid are completely out. But yeah, we actually run the Acuity in our cars, but we modified the 10th gen Civic one to work. And when they bring out the 11th gen, I'll be putting the 11th gen one back in the car. So. Yeah, I'm trying to think of some other stuff that's going on. I haven't really seen any new parts getting released. Trying to think of some news from different people on stuff coming out. I've been trying to kind of keep digging on more parts to see if anything's new. It's very hard getting actual emails and stuff from companies when they actually are releasing new products. So I don't know if I'm just not in the email chain anymore with companies, or I usually have to find out from customers that are like, why is this part not on your site? Like, are you selling it? So, yep. But definitely tune in on Wednesday on Instagram. If you guys don't know our Instagram, it's just Axion_Industries. Almost at 10,000. I think 10,000. No, we're actually almost at like 12 or 13,000 followers on there. We're going to be going live with Andy and Alex Gleach, two owners of the fastest 10th gen Accords in the world, and kind of talking to them on their builds, seeing what they've got going on. So definitely don't miss that this Wednesday at 8 Eastern. It'd be cool if you could go follow those guys too when they pop up on the feed. And super cool dudes. Andy's actually in the chat here right now. So he ran 11.7 with his 6-speed OEM block Honda Accord. But yeah, the fastest 10th gen Accord time right now is 11.1. And that's still using a factory block. Do you think we're ever going to get something equivalent to the PRL turbo kit for the 10th gen like the 11th gen? Nope, it's never going to happen. The EPA won't let anyone bring a kit like that out anymore. That's why. That's the reason PRL stopped selling them, is because the EPA told them to stop. Yeah, I mean, you would just have to custom make your own. I mean, the easiest thing, measure the flange, have someone make you a head flange, and then do a V-band off of that, do a V-band turbo, size it right, and do a internal wastegate. Turbo Smart makes some cool stuff. Andy's actually working on one right now once we actually ship it to him. But yeah, the EPA shut all that stuff down, man. So they don't want any crazy race stuff happening anymore. So that's also why PRL stopped selling catted downpipes. The EPA told them to stop. And like I've said, if tons of you guys have been on here before, right now the whole, I think about a year and a half ago, the EPA stuff was like everywhere in the chat things with the Subarus, with their tuning devices, with Hondas. You saw it everywhere. The reason you haven't seen it right now is because they're really focusing on shutting down all these diesel shops, which are the main reason that the EPA have gotten strict, is because of all the dudes in diesel trucks. So with eliminating all their exhaust EPA required stuff. So they've really come after them. And from what I've heard, they're coming after the tuners next. So if you dyno tune a car, you're probably going to get a visit from the EPA. But hopefully we can get some things passed where it kind of doesn't allow for some government overreach. We'll see. I feel like it's kind of gone under the rug for a little while now. So 9th gen, 8th gen superchargers, no one buys that stuff anymore. That's really what it comes down to. A company, to make any money, has to produce in bulk. And if people aren't buying, then they're not making money. So PRL stopped selling their kit. Full Race stopped selling their kit. The only real kit now is Max Speed, who make one, but it's very hush-hush. Because the EPA doesn't want any of these custom turbo kits hitting any street cars. So the only supercharger kit I think you can get is Merc Racing still make theirs. Craftsworks sell decent. I mean, I sell a few. I don't know. I don't sell as much as I used to. But I also don't do a lot of 9th gen stuff anymore because certain people told my customers I was going bankrupt. So to try and sway business away from them. So I pretty much left the 9th gen stuff alone. We still do a fair amount every month with 9th gen, but I mean, people have their shops that they choose to go to, and it is what it is. So yeah, I try to be pretty honest. I mean, honestly, with the EPA, it's like at some point we have to start somewhat doing some kind of work so they stay off your backs. I mean, I feel like they get very strict and come after companies when, people are messing around. They kind of like to keep people in check. And I think the last time the EPA was doing a lot of stuff was to scare a lot of people, to say, hey, like, calm your shit, So, and that's why a lot of these, catted downpipes have really hit the market more. You don't find catless anymore. It's because companies are trying to kind of work with the EPA to keep the hobby going and the industry going, which is a good thing. Because honestly, if they really hit hard and shut everything down, it would be a nightmare. So you don't want it to get to You definitely don't want your state to get like California when it comes to modifying a car because it's hell living there. Oh, cool. Thanks, man. I think we proved ourselves over the years to people. I think a lot of the scare tactics from companies, I'm not going to mention any names. A lot of people were just very jealous of us a long time ago, and probably still are. I don't know. But a lot of people, and I have multiple conversations of people, 7, 8 years ago, of certain companies telling customers we were going out of business so they could get their business from me. So yeah, I mean the EPA are just kind of trying to, like, as I say it, kind of puff up their chest right now. They're trying to just say, like, calm down, um, and I think it helps a little bit with the companies trying to kind of fall in line because then the EPA just kind of backs off a little bit. So definitely the diesel guys are the ones that have really um, gotten hit the hardest. A lot of those diesel shops that were just and taking off all the emission shit off cars and rolling coal. Yeah, well, most government is money racketeering. I watched a thing. It was funny from the El Salvadorian president the other day, and I don't get into politics on here because we're here to talk about cars. But it was a really cool thing about how governments tax a lot of people on a lot of things, and obviously the government gets all your money for taxes, so they can pay for roads and pay for all this. And if they're doing this, why is the government still printing money? Shouldn't they have an endless supply of money if they're printing it all the time? So it's a really cool question to kind of ask yourself, And I heard that and thought it was really unique to actually kind of, hear that kind of insight. It's like, man, where is all my money going? But yeah, we actually did our taxes this weekend. So that was the fun part of our week. So now I can concentrate on business all week long. And I didn't get hurt too bad. So yeah, Europe's funny. I mean, I grew up in Europe. I spent a good part of my life there. I've been to over 80% of the countries in Europe on vacation. Um, it's kind of weird. I don't think they've fallen for the whole electric thing like people in the States have for some reason. Countries like Norway are going to be 100% EV. I think they've already almost hit it, to be honest. But there's a lot of countries over there. I mean, if you go even to Switzerland, it's kind of weird. Like when you go to Switzerland, every single car that drives by you is basically like a high-end German auto car. And they're all V8s. They're all turbo, supercharged, whatever. And it's just weird because you think of Switzerland being this country that's just, super clean and, environmental. And you have all these, Porsches and Audis and Beamers, and it's pretty funny. But yeah, if anyone's new to the group, throw a comment in there. Get involved in the chat. Love to talk about Hondas. If you're build, if you have a question, what you should mod next, what you should stay away from. Love to answer some questions. That's why we get on here. Hopefully everyone can stay. We usually do about 45 minutes. It just depends on the questions coming from you guys, whether I stay on or get off. And but we got over the next month so much great footage that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. It's going to be pretty sick. Yeah, I saw that. I just can't trust. I've never tested the Skunk 2 rod, so it's kind of hard to give an honest answer out of them. I mean, personally, for me, I'd rather just go with a company that sticks to manufacturing rods and rods only. Personally, I like Sains and Wiseco. Those are the only two companies I really use. And pistons, Wiseco or JE. So I'll keep it there. I sell a lot of Skunk 2 stuff, so I don't need anyone at Skunk 2 pissed at me for saying anything bad about the rods. I just honestly don't even know much about the rods that they brought out. So, but yeah, I mean, Skunk 2, there's certain parts Skunk 2 make that are fantastic. some parts that I think they're just, trying to have more parts on the website and sell stuff. And I don't know if I would put it on my car, but if they want to shoot me a free set of rods, I can test them out. Kelvin cams are good. I just don't think on these newer cars with the cylinder head being really restricted, there's really any huge gains from cams. I think with porting in the head, there can be some nice gains, but people like Derek have tested cams, and honestly, the stock ones are making just good enough power. I mean, the fastest Type R in the world right now runs stock cams. So I think really just getting the parts combination and tuning is really the crucial part, especially with the integrated head with a single exhaust port. It's a whole different game than the old 4-port heads. And a lot of us that actually like spent time and worked on Night-Gen Civic SIs, who were one of the first Hondas to actually have those. The turbos actually did fairly well in there, but naturally aspirated, they sucked. And a cam mod on those cars makes almost no horsepower whatsoever because the head flow is so inconsistent from the casting from batch to batch. But when you actually get into the porting side of things and you actually open up it a little bit, then the cams can actually make some power. Well, yeah, the CVTs suck, man. I mean, they're really not for racing. I mean, it's basically just like a rubber band transmission. And the more power you add, it's just eventually going to go out. I mean, yeah, you can do some mods. I just don't really recommend. I mean, I would go full bolt-on, but I wouldn't go ethanol on those. But, it's just a matter of time, but that's like any other part out there. Yeah, but I think the engineering in an F1 CVT is much different than the Honda CVT. Yeah, I've been working with, that kind of has come about from stuff that we did with Hasport with our GK5 Fit, and wanting to put that in the newer cars. The mounts were made with our GK5 for the CRZ. I have known about this info for about 6 years now about Honda doing this, because those two motors, the L15B and the K20C4, are literally, hopefully, I mean, the future of modding. As these older K series get so expensive because they're getting rarer and rarer, these are now going to be the future motors for modding. And I know people are going to give me shit when I say an L15B7 is a good swap for an older Civic. I still think it is. I think the fact that you can make 300 torque and 300 horsepower and honestly have it reliable if you have a tuner that knows what they're doing is a fantastic street car. I mean, not everyone wants a complete race car for the street. So you have to think of the normal people that just want something more fun. And I think it's a good thing, the fact that California is still allowing this to even be done is pretty crazy. So I think our Fit that we sold back to Hasport, I think that might, I don't know if that one's eventually going to go out to California, but one of the other Fits they did is going to California for some work. The main thing is getting the electronics to talk. That's the main thing that messes with all the tuning and it not passing smog, because a lot of the lights will light up on the dash, and that's an immediate no-go in most states. So I need to spend some more time adding wheel stuff. Now that I've actually got someone running the website and adding parts, I can solely work on the company and sales stuff, and obviously answering questions 24/7 a day. We've been adding a lot more parts, but I want to get caught up more on some of the older cars that we just haven't got to putting on parts. And there's so much stuff coming out here and there that I have to get added. So we're getting there. If you need something added or you want something and don't see it on the site, just always shoot us an email. I can add it instantly and check if it's in stock. Let me get through some of these. Hondata fuel system comes with exhaust cam. I think, no, it's just the, I'm pretty sure it's just the intake cam. It's basically the cam that runs the DI pump. That's the reason that it's needed. It's for fueling, basically. Let me see. Well, okay. So if you're going to swap a CVT to a full manual, I gotta say, good luck with that. The problem is the electrics, man. You're going to have a Christmas tree on your dash. And that's the hardest part about doing these swaps in these modern cars is there's so many things that Honda have put in place for the car not to run properly. If you want to swap or do these, we ran into all this with our Honda Fit years ago. It actually isn't as strict as some of the newer cars. And I'll tell you right now, that harness, that wiring harness and work that I had to pay someone to do on our Honda Fit was $6,000. And that still did not have power steering. It didn't have AC, and it didn't have a couple other things. Was it worth it? I probably wouldn't do the swap now. I probably would have done other things. The reason we did the L15 and I planned this, this was almost 8 years ago, was because I thought the L15 B7 was going to be one of the future good swaps for a GK5 Fit. And I still think it is, but there's some stuff that needs to get worked out. But if Hondata have this thing coming out, it's going to be awesome because everything will be able to talk and work properly. Yeah, I'm just saying when you get into these new cars, man, there's a lot of stuff that'll come up with electrics that you have no idea is going to happen. And if the car didn't want it to run, it's not going to run. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know, but you got to think of even the wiring coming into the dash, all that has to be changed for auto to manual because the clutch pedal talks to the ECU, gas pedal, all that talks. You have a bunch of fittings that are on the shifter that even talk to the ECU. It's not just swapping in the engine harness and going anymore like it used to be. So just don't want you wasting money and finding out the hard way. So I honestly think it would be best just put your car back to stock, sell it, and go buy a manual that's already done. But yeah, if you want to do it, feel free because it would be cool. I mean, it's much easier when you get into a full standalone if you're wanting to do a manual to auto conversion, but these, using factory ECUs is still pretty difficult. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I mean, you can read it right here, 25K. I mean, I hate to say, like, our Fit from start to finish, and I got a lot of stuff for free in that car, probably ended up the whole swap costing us $15,000 with the engine, trans, clutch, turbo, flex fuel kit, all the wiring, custom harness, clutch, custom intercooler, custom everything. I mean, it's not a cheap swap. Yeah, it's the wiring's the hardest part. But keep us in tune. I'd love to hear how it goes, but that just sounds like a nightmare of it sounds like a complete nightmare of an installation and job. So yeah, welcome everyone in the group. I see we have quite a few people joining. If you have a question on Honda parts or anything, orders, whatever, go ahead and shoot a comment in there. I'll read them, answer them, get through them. I love everyone to stay in on the chat for the whole time if you can. It'd be cool. We're here every Monday, 8 o'clock Eastern. Make sure to do a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. We're almost at 9,000 people. So Yeah, Honda wiring sucks, man. That's like my most hated thing. I'm just not good with it. Well, it's not that I'm not good with it. I don't have the patience and I'm too busy with my business to even like stop what I'm doing for at least when I'm working on a car. I can work for an hour and put my phone down and get something real quick and then get back to work. You can't do that with wiring. You got to like shut down from the world for 8 hours and just, Yeah, the other thing, not a lot of people know about this in here is the Civic 1.5 turbo harness is the exact same as the 2.0 Accord harness, apart from a couple different connections. So that makes it a very easy swap to do if you're manual to manual. And that's what we're doing, but we're actually doing a custom harness with Haltech. But we have a whole series on what you need to do. We're going to probably have a kit available. I don't like to give away all the info because obviously I want some people buying some stuff from us and supporting the channel and supporting the business. I get a lot of people that want me to tell them all the info about all the parts they need. And then it's like, cool, I'll go let my guy know and I'll get everything from them. And I'm like, I don't want your buddy. Like, tell them to actually do the work and then they can sell you shit. It's very frustrating. Well, I sell K20C4 plugs if you need them. Well, you can't do a K20C1 swap. It's impossible in the car. And I'll tell you why. You're going from a Bosch Electronics car to the standard Honda wiring. It's completely different. That's why we're using the K20C4 in ours, because it's more bolt-in, super easy. Everything talks to each other. The only way I would really do a K20C1 is if you plan on buying Motec. Yeah, it's pretty crazy when you think of the cost of everything. I mean, I look at our 9th gen Civic build and I hear trust me, I see a lot of stuff people talking online and oh, that thing's never going to get built. When's that going to get done? That thing's taking forever. I don't think a lot of people don't understand the cost with building a full race car, especially when you're trying to do a lot of stuff at once. I probably should have. Well, I guess when you do a J swap, it's kind of hard to do not everything at once. But I mean, that car is just the amount of work that needs to just even make this thing happen is just incredible. And I don't think even people thought I would even get the motor even in the car. So big fuck you to all those guys that talk shit in the 9th gen group. I wouldn't say J swaps suck. I mean, it fits honestly like an OEM motor in our car. And once there's actual aftermarket community out there making the parts like P2R will, you're probably going to see some J swaps making well over 1,400, but it's still going to take some time. Yeah, the only thing that sucks about a J swap is obviously there's 2 extra of everything. So 2 extra injectors, extra pistons, extra rods, an extra head. So I'm excited though, but not excited to do the rest of the build because it's still quite a bit of cash. Yeah, you're better. I mean, honestly, like spending the money on a C1 motor over a C4 is just, I don't really get it just to say it's a Type R motor because basically the Accord motor is a Type R motor. All right. Any more questions on parts? I like that you guys are having conversations in the group. That's cool. Yeah, I love our J series in our Honda Passport. I would love to make it a little quicker, but there's no tuning out for it yet. So I'll wait for K-Tuner for the EPA to get off K-Tuner's ass, and then K-Tuner can come out with a couple more cars to add to their collection. Yeah, I had an RDX Type R basically. Just like I'll have a 11th gen SI hatch R. I don't know. It's just I like to bastard all my cars, so yep. Yeah, the 11th gen is going to be sick. I mean, when I think of like, I haven't really put a lot of details out what we're actually doing, but I guess I'll go over them kind of now. If you haven't watched some of the videos, so it's going to be a K20 C4 dart and sleeved Wiseco rods, JE pistons, 150 shot of nitrous. I'll probably do VTEC killer cams because we have when you do the K20 C4, you have to lock the large cam anyways. So I'll probably just do aftermarket cams. Very light head porting, just touching up a lot of stuff, not really taking off a lot of material. It's going to be a V-band forward facing Turbo Smart 6466 turbo. And if you look at the front of the car where the big H is on the car, we're going to cut the whole entire H off the car, and the turbo is going to be sitting right where the Honda emblem would be. So it'll be forward facing and then a V-band into the front mount intercooler, and then only have one pipe right into the throttle body. So, I mean, honestly, it's going to be sick. It's going to have a 1.5 gallon fuel cell in the front bumper. It'll have, we're deleting the water pump also on the car. So it'll be run on electric water pump, half size radiator. On the driver's side, we're going with a CSF radiator. Goal, like I said, is around 900 wheel. So keeping it front wheel drive, hopefully run mid nines to low nines would be perfect with the car. But we've got a long way to go with the car, obviously. But I think it's going to be cool. So we'll see what happens. I think what we're doing and what different people in the Accord group are doing are really a lot of cool things for the Honda community that really the Honda community don't know as much about yet, because everyone thinks Type R, Type R, Type R, Type R. And the C4 is really going to be the motor to go, because you can get one for $1,500 versus $3,000 to $4,000 for a Type R motor, and it's the same thing. So, I mean, yes, there's slight differences. I get that. I just don't want to go into them on here. But as far as making power, it's going to make just as much. At least ours will. Yeah, I was thinking of that today in my office, that Honda just killing that 2.0 10 speed in the 11th gen. That would have been such a cool car. And I keep waiting to see they're going to re-release one. I figured that Accord sold really well. The fact that they're doing that really scares me for what's to come with Hondas. Is this the last Type R? Is it the last Type S? Is it the last SI ever? Because I look at the motors that are in the Accord, and they're just, I could never drive a CVT. I used to have one in just a regular car I had an old Insight, and I hated the thing to death. If they keep a manual, then there's at least promise with a hybrid type setup. But the minute the manual goes away, it's going to be tough. No, I don't think everything's going electric. That's complete bullshit, especially when electric cars keep blowing up everywhere and catching on fire. I think, honestly, if you ask me, and I said this for years, I think hybrid is the way to go if they want to, I guess, save gas mileage or whatever this bullshit is, the complete scam that we live in. I was talking to someone that said EV are the way to go and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, have you ever heard of a 92 Civic VX? And they're like, no, what's that? And I said, oh, it's just a Honda hatchback that Honda brought out in 1992. And I go, do you want to know the gas mileage that thing got? Those things used to get up to 60 miles per gallon in those little cars. And one of the reasons why is because they didn't weigh shit, and the gearing was really, really tall on them. And it was just a little 1.5 in there. But, when you start bulking all these cars up with weight, they need more power to push them and move them, which requires more fuel. But I don't think EVs are the way of the future at all. I think they're good for some aspects of society, for people that just want a runaround car, to go into the cities and that kind of stuff, easy use. But I mean, the EVs don't even make sense for money aspect unless gas for petrol gas engines is over $6 a gallon. So yeah, I mean, I really wish Mitsubishi were on to the right plan. I really wish they brought out the Evo 11 when they talked about it like 6 years ago. They were going to bring out a hybrid diesel turbo Evo 11. That was what was rumored. And, you look at just using the hybrid for stop and go traffic to get you up to like 30 miles an hour, and then the gas motor takes over. I mean, people would basically be getting, highway miles per gallon, basically, if these things were done right. I also think some of the other variation fuels that are coming out, some of the Honda stuff that they're working on with GM, I think is going to be fantastic. It's still going to take another 5 to 10 years to get to a decent point with these alternative fuels, but those are other aspects that we need to look at, Man, you guys are all staying on here tonight. This is awesome. I'm probably going to be getting off here in about 10 minutes. But we'll be back next Monday, obviously. And you can also check out, if we have anything else to talk about, this Wednesday on our Instagram at 8 Eastern. Andy Klein, the man himself, will be on there. And we'll have Alex Gleach, if you want to join us for talking about Accords, quarter mile racing, and hopefully seeing these two go head to head maybe this year. It would be really cool. Yeah, I think when you start seeing like the auto manufacturers start kind of pushing away a little bit from EV, it just means that there's definitely a market there for it, but it's not going to be thing. I mean, I don't know how many of you have been to the Middle East, but the reason they drive gas powered cars there is because their gas is cheap there. If we would just open up the damn pipeline and make our own fuel, we wouldn't have to worry about these things. Yes, in Accord. Well, Andy Klein's made over 500 in his, but not on 93. I don't think you're going to see 93. I know if you have a Type R, I know you can get around 450, 460. 93, you could probably hit it with meth injection. But yeah, you're going to need that alternative fuel, especially if you're in the Accord, because the fuel system. Yeah, I heard Honda's never going EV, but we do have the Prelude coming out, which is going to be full EV, and we have the new Acura ZDX coming out and the ZDX Type S. Cool cars, but like I said, I don't ever see them taking over the gas powered market. I mean, the only way that the gas powered market would completely go away is if we just could not get gas, and it was $10, $15 a gallon. It's the only way that you're going to see a full EV society. So it's just not going to happen. Oh, cool. Yeah, I haven't really looked at the Prelude. I try and keep away from all the whole EV stuff, to be honest. I'm just not really into it. I think there's some parts of it are great. I love the kind of the multimedia type stuff that really Tesla kind of figured out. And now, pretty much every car manufacturer like does really nice stuff internally in the car is amazing. But there's just stuff EV I just can't get behind. The Moto Compacto, I guess they're cool. I mean, I would kind of look at someone in America riding one of those things around, like, I guess I mean, if you live in a big city, I could see using one, but America isn't really like a compact big city country. I mean, we're so spread out everywhere, unlike other, places like Japan and that, where so many people just live in Tokyo and could hop on one of those things right to work. I think they're a really cool idea. I mean, we might get one here eventually. I don't like buying things when they're like a fad, because you're just paying more money for something that I'm probably not going to use much. But they're cool. I've seen people modifying them now. It would be cool if Honda started making like little kits in the back where you could like mount the little Moto Compacto into like your Type R or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I'm 6'4". I don't even think I would fit on one, and it probably wouldn't move very fast. But yeah, they're cool. But I mean, I think of like at Hasport in Phoenix, like you wouldn't ride that thing anywhere unless you lived in downtown Phoenix or downtown Tempe. And, Phoenix is so freaking massive. Like, it literally takes 15 minutes to just go anywhere in Phoenix now. And there's no traffic. So everything's so spread out. But yeah, if you guys want a cool channel, I don't know how many people follow VTech Academy. It's basically the owners of Hasport Performance, and they do a lot of cool videos, a lot of cool builds. They just recently did a J-swap in a 04 to 08 TSX, which is like the perfect swap you could put in that car. And it's a really cool channel to follow. I've been guest on there several times. Several of our cars have been on the channel. They bought our GK5 Fit from us, and they're going to further the project. So you'll probably see that eventually when they get to it on the channel. I know they have a lot of stuff. They were fixing some of the issues that were still on the car, which is the electrical stuff that just wants to be a pain. But yeah, definitely go follow them. I think they're at like 120,000 followers now. So definitely pretty cool seeing what they've got. This is kind of how I got this idea, was actually from them. They used to do like a live feed every Tuesday. Every Tuesday they would do like a taco night, and a bunch of them would sit around a table and talk about Hondas. And I thought, wow, well, it'd be pretty cool just to get on here and talk to my customers and let people ask questions about where their parts are or whatever. So, but anyways, I think I'm going to get off, guys. If you could go watch some of our videos, even if you don't watch them, just play it and leave the room. I don't even care. It just tries to get our name out there more. I'm trying to grow this year a lot, and we've got a lot of cool things coming. So I really appreciate everyone spending an hour of the night just listening to me ramble. And we'll be back next Monday at 10 o'clock. So if you want to hop back on with questions, write them down through the week, think of things to talk about. It helps me so I don't have to ramble on here forever. And we can go over different stuff. If you've got a build in mind, I'll tell you yes or no, what to do, what not to do. Don't learn the hard way and get into some of these builds that can cost you thousands and a lot of debt and then not finish it. So anyways, if you guys can go on our website, tons of parts to buy. Support us. Really appreciate it. We got free shipping on almost everything. I think you have to spend like $250 or more now to get free shipping. So, but yeah, appreciate you all tuning in. We'll see you next Monday and hope to see you on Wednesday on our Instagram. So till then, peeps, thanks again. Later.